Hello, I'm Mario Toneguzzi with Business Spotlight. Joining me today is Merren McArthur, who is CEO of Lynx Air. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Mario. I really appreciate it.
Well, a lot of people probably are not aware of what Lynx Air is. We know a number of the other major carriers in this country. So maybe let's start this discussion. Just Merren, by telling us, what is Lynx Air?
Lynx Air is the newest ultra affordable airline in Canada. We launched just over 5 months ago on the 7th of April as an ultra low cost carrier, and we're here to make travel accessible for all Canadians.
Okay, super. Can you tell us a little bit about the reach right now for the airline?
Yes, so we have a network that spans coast to coast across Canada. With 10 destinations, starting on the west coast with Victoria, then Vancouver, Kelowna, Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg, Hamilton, Toronto, Halifax, and St. John's. So we're really got a very broad reach for such a small and new airline.
And where are you based?
And we're based here in Calgary.
Okay, and can you tell me a little bit about your fleet of planes? What do you have?
So we fly brand new Boeing 737 MAX aircraft. They're the most fuel efficient of their type. So they're about 14% more fuel efficient than any other aircraft. And they are also very sustainable for that very reason.
Okay, and you talk about the affordability. I know there's obviously lots of different numbers out there, but can you give me just a sense of your price compared to what a typical price would be for one of the major carriers?
So our fares start from as low as $49. That's including taxes. So they range up, obviously, depending on distances, but we're always aim to be the lowest airfare in the market, and they really are very low.
And tell me the reason behind it. Why was Lynx Air started?
So we feel that there's a really big opportunity here in Canada because fares have been very high for a very long time. And in that sort of an environment, there'll be a lot of Canadians who can't afford to travel or can't afford to travel as much as they would like. So our model is not about grabbing market share from our competitors, but actually growing the market, stimulating, inspiring more people to travel with our ultra affordable fares.
Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about your background, Merren? How did you come to be CEO of Lynx Air?
Yes, well, I started off my professional career as a lawyer, in fact, and I practiced law for over 20 years. You can probably hear from my accent that I'm from Australia. So I practiced law in Australia for over 20 years. And then I found myself at what was then the low-cost carrier, Virgin Australia in Australia. And that was in 2008. And I got the aviation bug and I've never looked back. So I was with Virgin Australia, got some great opportunities there. I was the CEO of Virgin Australia Regional Airlines. I was CEO of a startup cargo business for Virgin Australia, and ultimately I was the CEO of Tiger Air Australia. And then after about 12 years, I got approached about this role. This was just before COVID, and I was super excited about it because I have a great affinity for Canada. I've been here many times, visited here many times. In fact, I worked as a university holiday at the Banff Springs Hotel during the ski season when I was in my 20s. So I was excited about coming to Canada and living in Canada, and I was also excited about the opportunity to start an airline from scratch. Unfortunately, the COVID hit then and the project got put on hold, so I had an enforced break, but then project got revamped again early last year, and I made my big move to Canada and Calgary in June 2021.
All right, super. So maybe can you describe what it's been like for you as an executive and as a startup, leading this organization and this business in these kind of really unprecedented times that we faced last couple of years in the aviation industry?
Yeah, look, it's really been an exciting journey with lots of challenges along the way. We launched, as I said before, on the 7th of April, which was the culmination of a massive amount of hard work and planning by the team. And things could not have gone more perfectly on the 7th of April with our launch flight from Calgary to Vancouver. The flight took off early and arrived in Vancouver early, which I believe is possibly the first in history for a startup airline to actually depart and arrive early. And everything went to plan. I couldn't have been more excited about how it all went. And that was, you know, the day that the Calgary sun really shone on us. From then on, it's been a number of challenges, though, and that's the nature of aviation. So the very next week, our second aircraft on its very second flight was struck by lightning, which was unseasonal. And so it was out of service for a couple of days. But fortunately, we had planned to have a very slow ramp up in the first few months because we just wanted to make sure we bedded the operations down and got everything humming along before the busy summer peak. So we fortunately had a spare aircraft, so we didn't have to cancel any flights. So we were able to absorb that. Then, of course, Calgary had unseasonable snowstorms in April and May, which sort of made our operations a bit more complicated as well. And then in June, as you would know from all the other airlines, that's when all the airlines got hit by the unprecedented growth in demand post-COVID, coupled with supply chain shortages, which made the airport operating environment very, very complicated. So we were also impacted by that, but I'm proud to say that between April and June, we had industry-leading cancellation rate. So I know that all the news was about cancellations of some of the other carriers, and some of them had to write, their CEOs had to write to all their passengers about it. But for us, we cancelled less than 1% of our flights in April, May, and June. So everything was looking good despite the complexity and the difficulties until July, when we were really excited about welcoming 2 new aircraft to our fleet. So we would be able to carry as many passengers as we could over the busy summer peak. But with about 1 day's notice at the end of June, we found out that both those aircraft were going to be delayed by a month. So we were then faced with having to cover our schedule in July, which was supposed to have 5 aircraft with only 3 aircraft. So that was a massive challenge, and the team worked round the clock to minimise the disruption on customers. There's a lot of creative thinking about what things that we could do. We consolidated the schedule. We actually partnered with a couple of charter airlines to cover some of our flying, but they could only support us for a couple of days a week. In the end, unfortunately, we were required to cancel quite a few flights in July, but we had 40% less flying capacity, and we only ended up cancelling 10% of the flights, which was a great effort from the team. And I think even though I do, know and understand that those 10% of the flights had a lot of passengers who were inconvenienced, and we're very, very sorry about that. But the good news is that the 2 aircraft finally came in at the end of July, and we've now got a 6 aircraft fleet. And in August, we were back to our industry-leading cancellation rate of less than 1%. So it's onward and upwards now for us, hopefully.
Lots of opportunity there for a company like yours, isn't it? Currently in the landscape, that's the aviation industry. So
the opportunity for us. So at the moment, we've been focusing on domestic Canada, but we are in the final stages of our planning to launch services to the US. So that will be in early 2023. And I can't give away any secrets right now, but very soon we'll be announcing our first destinations in the United States, which will be lovely, warm destinations for Canadians to go to in the wintertime.
Oh, wonderful. What does the industry look like to you in the year ahead after all these challenges that it's faced?
Yeah, look, I think certainly the operational challenges that we've seen over the last couple of months are settling down. The airport environment is much, much improved. Still got a way to go, I would say, but it's definitely it's steadily improving, which is good to see. But, it's aviation. There's always challenges in front of you. So the fuel price is still at record highs, which is about 30% of our cost base. So that's always challenging. There's other high costs with and supply chain issues continuing, I think. And there's the spectre potentially of a recession down the track. So, but I think with all what the team has gone through, and they've just been so amazing working together and collaborating, and they've learned so much over the challenges of the last couple of months, I don't think anyone will be faced by the challenges ahead.
Mm-hmm. And as you look ahead, and what's on the horizon for Lynx Air, beyond, what you're mentioning, U.S. destinations, what else, what other plans and vision do you have for the business?
Well, our vision is to attract passengers with our ultra affordable fares, but then to earn their loyalty and gain their trust through providing a great flying experience. Because one of the things, the feedback that I've received from Canadians when I came here as to why the ultra low cost carrier hasn't taken off as well as it has in Europe and the United States. For example, Europe has 42% of its flying is done by ultra low cost carriers. In Canada, it's about 12%, and on some routes, it's as low as 3%. So we are aiming to provide a great flying experience. And that's one of the reasons why we're really focused on minimizing the cancellations, because we know that's the worst flying experience for a customer. Obviously, we need to get them to their destination safely. We've also got brand new aircraft, and we've had some great feedback from our customers on the spacious interior, the comfortable seats, and the magical extra leg room in between the seats that people seem to really enjoy. So that's our vision for the future. We will ultimately be expanding to international destinations, and we'll be growing our fleet to about 46 aircraft over the next 5 to 6 years.
Okay, super then. What does Lynx signify to you, or symbolize, just the name itself?
Yeah, it's a great question. I get asked this question a lot. Well, it's a uniquely Canadian animal, the Canada lynx. I didn't know that before I came to Canada, but uniquely Canadian. It's resourceful, efficient, and it travels vast distances across the country. And so they're all attributes that we can really relate to. But we also like the play on words, because we want to be the airline that links Canadians to their favorite people and places.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was super. Appreciate you taking the time, Merren, to chat with us today.
Thanks very much, Mario. I appreciate the time too.
All right, that was Merren McArthur, who is CEO of Lynx Air. I'm Mario Toneguzzi with Business Spotlight. Thanks for joining us today.